On the 7th of March 2015, Barack Obama was in Alabama to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Selma March. In 1965, 100 years after the abolition of slavery, African Americans were still deprived of their civil rights. Only 1% could vote. 70 people were harmed during this march, but a few months later, the United States Congress passed the Voting Rights Act. After centuries of struggle, the Southern states finally ended segregation. But since 2008, 22 Republican-controlled states have implemented voting restriction laws.
Right now, in 2015, 50 years after Selma, there are laws across this country designed to make it harder for people to vote. As we speak, more such laws are being proposed. Meanwhile, the Voting Rights Act, the culmination of so much blood, so much sweat and tears, the product of so much sacrifice in the face of wanton violence, the Voting Rights Act stands weakened. Its future subject to political rancor. How can that be?
On 9/11, the city of Wisconsin Rapids celebrates the start of fall. Between the vintage car exhibition and children's activities, the League of Women Voters activists register people to vote.
It's right there, and we will give the form to Paul today and we'll let him know that you're coming in.
Why is it important for you to register today?
Why is it important for us?
Because we have to. It's our voice. Absolutely.
Wisconsin is a swing state and helped Donald Trump win the presidency. In recent years, state Republicans voted 2 sets of laws restricting the right to vote. Their target? Young voters, African Americans, and Hispanics. These Democratic-leaning voters have the power to swing elections, but are hard to mobilize. And for Andrea Kaminsky, the president of the League of Women Voters of Wisconsin, this is intolerable.
There are a number of restrictions that have made it harder for people to register to vote. It's made it harder for groups like ours to register people to vote. There are restrictions that have made it harder for people to cast their vote because of voter ID. We have Wisconsin and Texas have the most strict voter ID laws in the country, and also they have limited early voting.
But the League has challenged these restrictions in court. And on July 29, a U.S. District Court judge weighed in their favor, saying these laws were unconstitutional. However, these activists have kept their fight going.
People are trying to make our democracy smaller. They seem to want to have fewer people making the decisions and calling the shots in our country. And again, we believe that our democracy is stronger when more people are actively participating.
In the self-proclaimed country of freedom, only 30% of young Americans consider democracy as essential. In Ohio, another swing state, Mona Alayani teaches American Studies.
What kind of democracy are we? A representative. And in some, at the local level, we can vote directly. Okay, very good. You guys do listen.
Today, her 10th grade students are discussing the Electoral College.
Now, let's have an argument against the Electoral College. Okay, Justin, loud and proud, Justin.
Okay, so one of our arguments for against the Electoral College was that most states use a winner-take-all system. So, for example, Ohio, we have 18 electoral votes. So if 11 of you guys voted for the Republican Party and 7 of us voted for the Democratic Party, all 18 votes go for the Republican Party. Therefore, our votes are kind of worthless. And people always say, why don't you vote? And some people say my vote doesn't count. And in a sense, that could be true.
Okay.
Despite their young age, These future voters know how important this class is.
Miss Al teaches us what she cares about. Like, she wouldn't teach us this if it wasn't important for us to know.
Yeah, and it's also an issue that we don't know, that most Americans don't know. So she's like, okay, this is a problem. People don't understand this. So you know what? I'm going to make you that minority that does understand it to benefit you. And it will benefit everyone.
This teacher's mission is to empower the citizens to be. But since the 1990s, many schools have replaced their American Studies class by community service. And as a result, less than 20% of the 18-29 age group voted for the last midterms elections in 2014.
I believe schools should be more involved in the education of our youth when we're talking about citizenship and civic engagement. I feel if it's possible, if schools have the resources, all students should be required to do civic engagement, community service, and have an idea about how the politics works in their own country. And in America, most students don't really learn American government until their high school years. So it's very important.
From theory to practice, Mona and her students are heading for the University of Toledo. Every week, these young women get together to act against local human trafficking. And they strongly believe in this kind of community service.
So helping out your community, doing service is very important because you're living in this world and you want, if you were in some other people's situation, you would want them to help you. And with Young Women for Change, our mission is to empower women and to show them that sisterhood, service, leadership is very important.
Not quite citizens yet, these girls can already vote on the internet.
Hi, welcome to change.org. This is our San Francisco headquarters. I'll take you over here. This is where most of our staff works, where we work on a lot of the biggest petitions that happen on the site. We sort of help create those strategies, try to help them win, help give tips to the people that start those petitions.
Since 2007, change.org has been regenerating democracy and civic participation through online petitions. In the US alone, 40 million people use it on a regular basis, and more than 1,000 petitions are started every day.
We are sort of reinvigorating democracy and sort of trying to help bring democracy into the 21st century. Change.org and other sort of internet sites like us are really hoping to bring a lot of new people into the process, people that maybe haven't participated before, particularly young people, and really open up democracy even more than it has been in the past.
The digital revolution has made it easier for people to participate, and it has balanced power between ordinary citizens and decision makers.
You're saying, hey, you're in power, I want to talk to you, I want you to respond to me, and you have to. Let's make this a dialogue, I'm here and I matter. And so I think it's a complete revolution in how people are participating in their democracy.
Like with this petition, sent to the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Started by a citizen who has Down syndrome, it gathered almost 270,000 votes and helped pass a law in favor of the disabled. The election of Donald Trump to the presidency of the United States shows how fed up people are with Washington. Indeed, the percentage of Americans unhappy with the political system has risen from 23% in 2002 to 80% in 2016. In our digital age, these tools of continuous democracy offer hope in a country where large fortunes and companies are a huge source of funding for electoral campaigns.